Herman Danenhower from Danenhower Apiaries. We're going to explain a Juniper Hill Split. It's a method of producing nice comb honey that John Hogg has invented and perfected. And the video may be helpful to some people who would care to make the Hogg Half Comb. I live in Pennsylvania, southeast Pennsylvania, and the time frame I do this will not necessarily be the same time frame that you will have to use where you live. But here, when the dandelions bloom approximately April 15, I go see how well the bees wintered. If they wintered well, when dandelion blooms, they will have this full of brood and the queen will start to be laying in the lower hive body. That's a perfect situation to do the first operation. And what we're going to do is find the queen, put her in the lower hive body, put a queen excluder and trap her down there for approximately 17 days. So this is the one we're going to do. The entrance to this hive is out the front, and it's a good hive. They have a nice field force. Today being April 15th, a week ago, I put an excluder in here. So at that point, I isolated the queen in one or the other hive bodies. And I put that in there so it'll come back today. I put it in 7 days ago. I don't have to search through all 20 comb. Whichever brood box has some eggs in is where she will be, and then we can find her. Yeah, I believe that I trapped the queen in this upper hive body because I'm seeing eggs. Yep, she must be in this hive body. So now it's just a matter of finding her. There, I have her marked from before. I'm going to clip this queen. This is optional. You don't have to do this for a Juniper Hill Split, but I like to do it. I clip her and mark her because I'm going to be finding her again. We pick her up by her two wings. You got to get both wings. Then you hold her against your finger there and get two legs. Got to get two legs because she can bin one leg off. And we clip her wings just enough so she can't fly. And then we mark her. She's already marked, but we'll put a little extra on there. Dress her up a little bit. I'm holding her by two legs. Start to put this hive back together. Alright, I'm going to let her go now. I'm going to put her in the lower hive body. We'll put her on this frame here. We're going to put her in below the queen extruder. Okay, the bottom box is virtually broodless. If there were some brood there, I would just drop her in all by herself. But to keep her and the bees more content down there, I'm putting her in with this frame she was laying eggs on. There she is, clipped and marked. Goes in that lower hive body. is where she had been, the queen excluder. The bees can get through that, of course, but the queen cannot. That's going to keep the queen in that lower box. She's got plenty of room to lay. So we got her trapped down there. We're going to keep her down there for approximately 17 days. So it's like May 1st when we do the second operation. Now, if a good amount of dandelion honey comes in, I put a shallow super here, which we call a buffer. First operation, approximately April 15. We put the queen bee down here with place to lay. Queen excluder that's going to keep her there for 17 days, the brood and the buffer. In that 17-day period, the brood nest will be established here. This brood mostly hatches out. Dandelion honey and other honeys get put in here, and at that point we do the second operation about May 1st. 17 days later we'll split it. We're going to come back to you and show you that second operation as part of the video. Okay, here we are approximately May 1st, 17 days after the first operation of a Juniper Hill Split. This queen was put down below. She's been trapped here for 17 days. Queen excluder. This area's got a lot of honey in it now. It became broodless. When you go to the second operation, to split your colony, you will need a bottom board and another cover, because you're going to have two hives involved here now. The brood in that is going to get spun around facing the opposite direction. The parent colony now flies out that way. So we got to go all the way down here and try to find this queen and drop her into this. So I'll show you how I do the second operation here. We can take that out. Maybe we can even see a little honey in there. See, that's got a lot of nectar in that. Predominantly from dandelions. I'm going to set this, what will be the parent stock, on its new bottom board that I have over here. This is what we now call a set aside. I'm going to spin that totally opposite direction here. Now quickly get your parent stock placed so the foragers have a place to go to. Now this is virtually broodless. Queen's been trapped down here for approximately 17 days. We're going to find her, drop her in here, and what we have done really is swarmed these bees on our timetable. There's the excluder that kept her down there. Alright, there's our clipped and marked queen. Got to put her in the new parent stock that's mostly broodless. We're just going to put her right in there. Now we get these two hives back together here. Alright, we needed the extra cover. I'll set aside. There. Our new parent stock, minimum of brood in it because of the 17 days of isolation. shallow super that we call a buffer. The buffer I use, you can make comb honey over one hive body. I like the shallow super. It helps keep pollen out of the comb. I was having a little trouble getting pollen in the comb supers. This bigger area for a brood nest eliminates that problem. So I like to use the buffer. 40 Hogg cassettes for a 10 frame hive. We put that on there. And with a little bit of luck, the honey flow continues. They kind of explode into this relatively real quickly. Now let's briefly discuss the set-aside. The set-aside is now queenless. It is perfectly capable of raising its own queen. It has lots of nurse bees. A lot of times when you isolate the queen down below for 17 days, they start to raise queen cells. And they're almost provided for when you do the split. The set-aside has queen cells well underway in preparations to swarm. In this case, I did not see that, so I'm going to provide the set-aside with a queen cell or a queen, because I do a little bit of queen rearing. Because the parent queen is in here, that is queenless, and I didn't see them starting any cells. The set-aside will lose all its field bees. They're accustomed to going in out of there. So in effect, we swarmed this hive on our timetable. In a week or two, the set-aside actually gets a good field force going. And on a nice sunny day when they're foraging, I'll take that away, and that reinforces this colony. Those field bees come back, this set-aside won't be there, but they find their way into this colony here and boost and help me get more nice comb honey. So that's the Juniper Hill Split. We'll come back and video some of the comb and see if we have some success. Herman Danenhower, Danenhower apiaries. We're here for the third and final part of the comb honey, the Hogg Half Comb. We're going to harvest from this hive here. It's a particularly good year this year. I'm content to get one nice super of comb honey where I live here in Pennsylvania. It was an outstanding year. This is the home apiary. Here we have another hive that made 2 supers. Up there's a hive that made 2 supers. Very outstanding year. Mostly, if you want to harvest comb honey, you should get yourself a bee escape, a triangular bee escape like this one here. This would go underneath the super, and the only way the bees can get out is down through here and out. I'm not going to use the bee escape. I want to get the honey off real quick. I'm going to use a fume board. This might be the best way. Yeah, I'm going to harvest this here with the fume board, and that way I don't involve 2 trips to the apiary. Now we're going to check this super here for readiness to harvest. This looks ready to harvest. The bees cap the comb over from top to bottom. You got to make sure it's capped at the bottom. I can really see down there pretty good, and I'm quite sure that it is. A little careful with your smoker, you don't want to get any ash. But we'll start the bees in the right direction, and we'll put the fume board on here. We're going to stay right with this. Get them out of there real quick. They're nearly all out of there, and that's only been a few seconds. Yep, they're nearly entirely out of that super. Still some on the bottom there. I'll get them out off of the hive. There's still a few bees in there, so I'm going to put this over here on this drip tray. The fume board is running out the last few bees. If you only make a little bit of comb honey, the bee escape is probably best. I run 50 hives or more for comb honey. Bee escape is 2 trips to the apiary. For me, I think this is what I need to do. The fume board gets the bees out, the fumes all dissipate away. I never noticed anything in the honey. It's only on there a short while. Now the drip tray comes in handy because oftentimes there's some burr comb on the bottom here, and the tray will save that wax. Wax has a little bit of value. Well, that one really wasn't too bad. But that one has a really nice full Super Hogg Half Combs. I forgot to mention when we were harvesting the comb honey, the date, some few days after the 4th of July. Here where I live, the honey flows pretty much come to an end at that time, and you harvest before you get an excess of propolis anywhere. But where you live, maybe you could wait longer. You may have a honey flow after the 4th of July, but not too much here. We walked up to show you this. Not everybody wants to do a Juniper Hill Split to make comb honey. And it's difficult to make comb honey by just putting supers on top of a strong hive. I do have success by using Hogg Half Comb that was partially drawn out the season before. The last super I put on a lot of hives doesn't get finished to my satisfaction, but it gets partly drawn out, and I let the bees rob that out in July, and those half comb supers have some drawn comb in. Bees are attracted to that, and that I found I can just put on top of strong colonies. This colony here was given 3 supers that had some drawn comb in. They're attracted to that, and they did well for me. Another thing I like to do is provide all this ventilation. Notice the bees can go in and out this crack I provided here, and they also can go in and out the regular entrance. But we'll just peek in here to show you that without any special operation, but it kind of happened because it was drawn out partially from the season before. We can see that super is beautiful. They did it real well. I'm assuming that one would be also. And the final one I put on, the honey flow ended. There might be 5 or 6 sections in there that I could possibly sell. I won't bother to dismantle that. This will get set out to be robbed out and used the following year. And I'll put that on a colony and not do any special operation. They are attracted to drawn comb. Okay, we're in the honey house to take apart a half comb super. The half comb super has 5 springs involved. We got to get the springs out of here. Then it has what's called the rabbited follower that comes out. That requires a little bit of cleaning for next year, but not much. 2 springs on this end follower. The tape has to come off, and this surface, while it presents itself as one flat surface, I clean that as good as you'd like to clean it. Wipe it with a damp cloth if you care to do so. One follower out. We got 4 stacks of 10. When they come out, I like to wipe them a little bit. Sometimes I see a little propolis. Get rid of that. Tape down on these stacks of 10. Alright, we put the cover on diagonally, lock that one corner in first, then push it down nice and tight. All you have left to do, clean the bottom a little as needed into this tray. There's usually a little bit of wax on the bottom, not much. Wipe it with your damp cloth. And there's your Hogg Half Comb. And as a final operation, the diagonal label really dresses it up. That's a 12-ounce honeycomb. I like this cover hinge idea. Put that on. We put a cover hinge on one side, and then it tells you here where to open it and close your comb honey between servings. All these things are available through Better Bee. If your comb is a little thin, good comb, perfectly sellable, you get a red label. This one is marked 10 ounce. I would encourage anyone to look up John Hogg Half Comb video. It's well worth seeing if you're interested at all in making the half comb.